Okay, so interesting. I must have updated it so we start with the shotgun. My guess is the reason I did that is I was testing. So one of the things that we were testing was the inventory system. So if I press I have my inventory system. I can pick things up like plasma, for example, and then that will show in here. I can't equip plasma or do anything with it yet because it doesn't actually do anything. We have our pistol and our shotgun. We can drop things, all that kind of stuff. That's great. Looks like this dude is out of ammo, which is going to mess up a little bit of our demo, but what we can do now is you'll notice I have 12 bullets and 100 spare. So now I have 88 spare. And if I drop this, one of the things we were working on last time is that when I pick that back up, it doesn't reset my bullets and ammo. So we don't want 100 when we pick this up. There we go, 5 and 88. So all of that is working. Now the other thing that we did, and this ought to be interesting. This dude's out of ammo. Hey, wait. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button, that's why. This dude's out of ammo. If we kill him, he dropped his shotgun. I have 22 rounds in this shotgun, 6 in the chamber and 16 on backup. If I pick that up, that's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. So there's two things here. First, let's go stop this guy before he finishes. I have no ammo. Before he uses all his ammo. Okay. So now, if I pick this up, oh, that's hilarious. All right, you'll notice the important thing is this dude is dropping. Great. Now, if I pick this up, what happens is I actually get more shotgun ammo. All right, so I'm actually able to pick up more shotgun ammo. Now, there's a couple of issues with this that we have. Right now we have 1 and 1. If I pick it up, all right. So the cool thing is our character is dropping their weapons. I also, when I get killed, should also drop my weapons if I can get this dude to shoot me. There we go. There, I dropped all of my weapons. That's cool. Looks like he even dropped the plasma. So if we run over there, I can pick up all this stuff. Now here's the problem. This is not added. We need to fix this. That's hilarious. So our test case then is when we pick up or when we drop a weapon, there's 2 bits to it. If we drop a weapon that has 0 bullets and 0 rounds in the chamber, that might be okay. But when we pick it up, we don't want it to set our limits. We want it to add to what we have already. So let's see if we can fix that here. I believe we have that as test pickup. If we take a look at our test pickup here. All right, what's happening is when we do our overlap, that's the old way. We're getting our inventory by class and we're adding it, and then we're going through all the stat tags and we're removing a certain count from. Oh, interesting. Do we really want to do this? Okay. So here's what's happening. We're getting the item definition, right? Then we're going through all the stat tags on it. And let's just say one of those is ammo. Okay? Then at that point, and let's say there's 20 rounds in there. What it's doing is it's getting that 20 rounds, it's removing that 20 rounds, And then if it's finding it, it's adding. That's interesting. I wouldn't expect that to get rid of our ammo. Let's try that again, and this time we'll put a breakpoint on this. Because that seems suspicious to me. Okay, we'll let this dude finish shooting. Run out of weapons. Run out of rounds. Okay, so he's out of rounds. We're gonna kill him. Now we have 6 and 16 for a total of 22. When we walk over, what we're going to do is we're gonna get the item definition. Okay, in this case, this should be our liar inventory instance. We have our stat tags, which has 2. Okay, then 0 for the magazine, 0 for the magazine ammo, and 0 for the spare. Alright, so what's gonna happen is we're gonna go through each of these. And we're going to remove 0 from our stat count, which is 6. Oh, wait a second. No, we're not. We're removing 6. And what we're doing is we're adding back in the tag stat count. Why is that? I don't think that's quite right. I think what we want to do here is we either need to... Why wouldn't we just add this? Why would we remove what we have already? I feel like we don't need to remove. I feel like what we need to do is, if we find the tag, if that's true, we would just add to the stat count. If it's false, we're not going to do anything. Okay, and then when we're done, we're going to destroy the actor. Alright, let's try that again. This may be an easy fix. I feel like there was a reason why, though, that we were removing the stat count. Alright, we'll let this dude run out of ammo. Okay. 6 and 16. We're just gonna let it ride. 6 and 16 still. Oh, dude. What? Okay. So now, this dude, after he gets through his first clip, okay, he had, let's see if that's right. Hold on, we gotta do some math here to figure out if this is working right. When we first start, we have 8 and 16, so 8 per. So when he finishes his first round, he's got 8. We're gonna shoot twice to kill him. 3 times. So now we're 5 and 16. If we pick up his shotgun, we're... Wait, that doesn't seem right. Oh, he must have reloaded. He must have reloaded. Okay, 11 and 24. 24 and 8 is 32. That's about right. Now he's probably got one in the chamber. 8 and 48. Alright, I don't think we're causing a problem here in the sense that that's 4 shots, 5 shots. We've probably got 3 left in the chamber. Gives me 8 and 64. I wonder if there's a max here. Maxes. 4 and 80. Let's just do this one. 96. Okay, maybe we don't have any ammo limits set. 10 and 109. Interesting. Okay. That also let me go over our max. So that's 9 and 125, but watch what happens if I try to pick up this shotgun. Spare ammo full. Okay, so we fixed one problem. That's good. 6 and 141. Okay, our pickup items do not limit ammo by any of the attributes that are specified. So we should probably think about taking that into account. Maybe? Let's check this out. I'm gonna edit the weapon spawner. Let's see here. This is gonna be getting the weapon. And we're gonna get the component. Quickbar inventory manager existing weapon instance. Check if the activator already has the weapon. And if they do, activator has the weapon already. Get the weapon item class spare ammo and subtract off the current spare ammo. Oh, interesting. So that's what they're doing to make sure before we add to the stack count. Whew. Do we want to do that same thing? I think it's probably reasonable. Where's weapon item class coming from? It's being passed in. Item def. Does our item def have a weapon class in it? Nope. Hold on a second. It's gonna be in our class defaults. Static inventory. Okay, so we add that to the static inventory. When do we do this? Set the mesh. Based on the static inventory item definition. Interesting. What is this thing? This is a test pickup. And our test pickup, here we go, we're setting our templates here. So the ID shotgun is the item definition for the shotgun. And this it has the equipment definition. But that's a fragment. Okay. Okay. So, but we don't even need that because look, we can get magazine, spare ammo. What are they doing? What are they looking at here? Spawner. Weapon item class. I want to look at this thing for the shotgun. Weapon ID shotgun. Weapon instance. 3 members. I feel like these are supposed to be the maxes. And in order to test that, here's what I want to do. I want to print when we give the weapon. Let's print this. I want to know what class this is printing. then we'll walk over the shotgun. No, not the shotgun. Let's check out like the pistol. So we'll walk over the pistol. ID pistol C. Yeah. Okay, so that's what's setting it. Interesting. Wow. Okay. So basically, it's using these values to add to the stack, and in here we're using stat tags to track. I guess that's not bad, but what we would want to do is we're not going to remove the stat counts anymore. I do think we want to get from here similar stuff. Get default stat from item depth. Alright, let's try it. Let's try this. So can we get default stat from item depth? Ooh, looky looky. And the one we want in this case is spare ammo. We're going to take our spare ammo. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take this value, which is like 16. We're going to subtract off our current stack count, and then if that is a positive number, we will add it. So let's just say we could do if it's greater than 0. Wait a minute. Get stack tag count. Oh, but we don't know which one we're using. Shoot. No, we just have to feed the tag into here. We can do this. This will work. And if that is greater than 0, then we're going to proceed. We're also going to make sure it has the tag. Not sure why we need to find that. This should be found already because we're already finding. This seems redundant to me. But anyways, this should limit the amount of our shotgun. So if I have 8 and 16, shoot this dude. I have 5 and 16. Oh, because he had been firing. Like, oh, you punk. So it wouldn't pick it up. So I'm 7. So I'm 4, 10. What? Okay. So here's the problem. There's a max. So if we get that count, let's say I have 5 in the chamber and the enemy has 8. Eight minus 5 is 3. I believe the stack count we want to add is this subtraction here, not what the value is. Let's try that. Okay, 3, 8 and 16. 5 and 16, 8 and 16. Okay, so far I'm not getting more than I should. 8 and 16, perfect. Alright, so let's go all the way down. So 7 and 8, 8 and 16, perfect. And that dude, is that possible? Yes, because he should have had 8 left over plus the stat chamber, so now he's got 16. If I go all the way down and reload. Okay, so 5 and 8. 8 and 16, interesting. So this is his first round. This is his second round. So he should have, when he's done with this round, he should have 8 left in spare. No, something's wrong. Something's wrong. This math is not right. So he should have, when he's done with this round, he should have 0 in his chamber. When we pick this up, let's put our breakpoint on here. Wait, what? Why wasn't this? Yeah, it's because we don't want any debug. Alright, here we go. Now we know our test case. Let's go again. Going all the way down. Alright, he's finishing off his second magazine. So we should only have 8 left in spare. Okay, so when I walk over this, oh, come on, where's my breakpoint, dude? I don't want any debug object chosen. That's the first round. Just finished the second. Alright, there we go. Okay, so when we go over this. Whew, okay, so stat tags, we have 2. We have 5 of magazine ammo and 0 spare. That's exactly what we thought. So something is happening here, and that is when we take the class stat default is 8, and we subtract off 6, because is that what I had? I have 6, yes. 8 minus 6 is 2. That's greater than 0. We're adding in the default. When we switch that. Okay, so we don't want to add in the default. We want to add in stat tags 5, but we already have 6 in the chamber. So we want to add in the def minus 2. Wait, why isn't that right? That should be right. Hold on a second. We have 6 in the chamber. There are 5 in their spare ammo. we should add 2 in. So that should get us back to 8. Okay, let's just do that. So that should get us to 8. And we're gonna go through standards. And now we're on our index should be, okay, so 16, and we have 0, right? 16 minus 0 is definitely greater than 0. And then our stat tags is 0, but we're adding in that amount. Oh no, that's not what we want to do. We want to add in this minus what we have. Okay, what we want to do is take this, hold on a second. No, I'm not thinking about this right. First, we're checking to see, my brain's not working tonight. Hold on a second. It's right in front of me. We only want to add in this amount that is greater than 0. So this minus this amount, if it's greater than 0. The problem is this is 16. 16 minus that is 0. 16 minus 0 is 16, which is greater than 0. And then if that's true, then we're adding in our stat tags here. In this case, it's 0, so we're not going to add anything in. Now let's just say that we were full. Okay, because our shotgun can take 16 spare. Let's just say I was full. Okay, no, let's just say we had 1 left, 15. So 16 minus 15 is greater than 0. And if that dude had a full magazine, we would want to add in, oh my god, why doesn't this work in my brain? What is happening? We have room. This number right here is how much we have room for. Okay. And if we have if we have 8, for example, or let's say there's this is what we currently have, right? Yes. This is how much is in the item. This is how much we have room. Oh my gosh. Right, do I need to write this down? So this is going to be, let's say we have 16 minus, if we have 16, that's 0. We have room for 0. Okay, but the problem is if the item itself so then we need to take this minus that, I think, minus, let me think for a second. Okay, if we do that, now let's try this the other way. Let's say that we have, let's say we only have 8. Okay, so 16 minus 8 equals 8. We have room for 8, okay? And if there is, we have 16 here, minus 8 would work. But what if we had 0 there? If we had 0, 0 minus 8 is negative 8. This is staring me right in the face, and I'm just not. My brain is not doing math right now. This is how much we have room for. Okay. This is how much we have room for. If that's greater than 0, we should add up to how much we have room for. And how much we have room for is some number. Okay? That number if this is less than this number, if we have room for 5 and there's only 3, that works. Because if it's greater, we're going to add all 3. We have room for 5. And there's 3 in the chamber. We're going to add them all. If we have room for 8 and there's 3 in the chamber, we want to add them all. If we have room for 5 and there's 8 here, we can only add 5. So the min value that we can have is 0. The max value we can have is this. The value that we're going to feed in is that, and this is what we're going to add. We're going to clamp. And if we clamp it, I don't even think we need to do this if test. But let's see here. So let's just try this. Okay, let's try the test we were doing before. We have 16 in our spare ammo. We go to pick up a weapon that has 8 spare ammo. Alright. So 16 minus 16 is 0. We technically wouldn't even do this, but let's just say we did. Okay. The item that we found has 8. The value we're putting in is 8. Our max is 0 in this case, so we would add nothing. Let's flip it. We have 8 in our spare. We find a weapon that has 16. Okay. 16 minus 8 is 8. That is greater than 0. Alright. 16 minus 8 is 8. So our max is 8, and we're picking up a weapon with 16. So that's going to work. It's only going to add 8. I believe we don't even need, because what's going to happen is this should always clamp. So he empties this whole round. Actually, we don't even need him to. We can just see. Okay, so I have 5 and 16. Now I have 6 and 16. I guess he didn't have full rounds. I have 3 and 16. Now I have 5 and 16. Let's wait till he finishes his reload. 6 and 16. because he didn't finish reloading. Great job. Wait till he finishes reloading. Perfect. Okay. So now let's fire off our few rounds. Do our reload. Now once he finishes reloading, he'll have 8 in the chamber. And 8 in spare. And that gave us 8 and 16. Eight and 16. All the way down to 0. So we have 0 spare, 8 in the rounds, and 8 in the chamber. Now, okay, that dude was down to 4. Let's kill this dude right away and take all of his spare. So 5 and 8, 8 and 16. Did I back up over the shot? Hold on a second. We're gonna let them go all the way down to nothing. Perfect. So this dude should have 16 spare. We're down to 2. 6 and 16. Alright, that works. Excellent. Fine. Okay, so this is now taking into account the actual allowed spare ammo for the weapon, which is good. There's a few other things that we need to fix about this, so that players don't take advantage of our mistakes. So right here we're 8 and 16. If I go to pick this up, let's just see what happens without a breakpoint. Still 8 and 16. It's interesting that it does consume that. The thing that's a bummer about that is if I want to troll you, I can go try to pick up all the weapons. That's interesting. I think probably what might be cooler is if we made them smarter, so it would only pick up the amount that you needed. We can do that. Let's do that. That way I can't continually troll you. So if there were like 2 shotguns here, I wouldn't be able to pick up both of them and you wouldn't get any. So what we're going to do is, with this test pickup, in here, overlap, we add the item definition. Here we're destroying the actor. What we really want to do is this value that we're picking up, we want to reduce our stat tags by. So let's see here. So let's say that we could let's say there's 8 here and we could pick up 5. We would want to subtract off that number. So if we stat tag value set map of gameplay tag structures to integers. Hold on a second. Get. Nope, that's not what we want. How do we reset this, I guess is the question. Our GA drop is doing this. We should be able to find it in there. Drop. does is it goes through, it spawns an actor, and it makes a map. And okay. So can we set them? Oh, interesting. Okay, so what we're going to do is set tags. Contain, find, these values. Here we go. Values. Wait, can we set these values? It just gets the values. And that's a for loop on each of the values. Can we do this? Okay, this is interesting. So what we're going to do is the key in this case is this, and the value that we're going to set I don't need this here. The value we're going to set is going to be equal to, okay, so whatever we clamp this by is going to be this value minus subtract 8, and this is going to also be clamped. Let's just say that this is going to be min of 0. Okay. So that's going to basically, this should set the tag for those. And then what we're going to do is when we get down here, rather than just destroying, what we can do is we can get this, and then for the value, no, values for each and each of these. Wait a second. Here we go. We're going to loop through, and we're going to see if it's greater than 0. And if it is, we are going to skip out a touch. And then if it, okay, so if it is, we're going to get the next free slot. Add item slot, set active slot. Hold up a second. Okay, so that's true if that's the case. Okay. And if it doesn't, if we get through all of these and none of them are 0, then we'll destroy the actor. Alright, so let's test this. It's gonna be wild if this works on the first try because I'm barely thinking of this. Alright, so what we'll do to test this is, first off, I have full weapon. Yeah, that didn't work. I mean, that clearly did not work. So let's debug this. Not here. Here. All right, do this. Go again. All right. So we're going to come in here. It's valid. It comes up here. Our stat tags right now. How are our stat tags? Nothing. doesn't seem right, does it? And it's adding the weapon repeatedly. Bro, I'm 12 years old and I just got low poly models. I learned English. Can it become better? Of course you can. Hermanios. And our GD script, low poly models. I learned English. Can it become better? Of course, man. You already did become better. You learned, low poly models in GD script. What is it? It depends on what your goals are. So what time zone are you in if you're 12 years old? What is GD script used for? I know it's like Python. Uses the G-Dot. This is for the G-Dot game engine. I guess I've never used the G-Dot game engine. I guess what I don't understand is why when we go to pick this, oh, I know why. Our stat tags does not default to anything. That's the problem. When we set the mesh, we don't actually we set the mesh, but we don't set any of our stat tags. And we really should do that at the same time. So, the same way that we get interesting. From the item def. Oh, that's the item def fragment. Skeleton mesh. Item def fragment. So from here, okay, here's the problem. We need to set our stat tags. Because this will work for a picked up item. And let's see if we can prove that out. So what we need to do is we need to get this dude before. Okay. Wait. Where's his gun go? Okay. So 4 and 16. Nope. I was wrong. It didn't work. What in tarnation is going on in here? Alright. Wait, we have a debug. No debug object selected. Let's go. Let's go kill this dude. Pick this up. Wait, why didn't it break? Okay. So our stat tags are, we have 2. We have 0 in the ammo and 16 spare. Okay. So with the 16 spare, so what should happen? We should add our stat counts. That's fine. We're gonna do that. All right. Oh wait. It just kicked out. That's because on the false we don't do anything? What? No, that doesn't make any sense. This should totally come down here no matter what when this for loop is completed. finish our sequence. Okay, so here's our values. Magazine ammo 0. Oh, I see what happened. I think. False, we should come here as well. Okay, try that again. Play. So we come in here, we're going to do our 2 steps. Finish the loop. Okay, we should have 2 steps. What? I don't understand. Oh, key 0. This is why. Because we need to set. Okay, hold on a second. What happens is we're constantly overriding our base key here. This is what's happening. What we really need to be doing is we need to be taking, you know what, we're going to create a new key map. This is going to be leftover stat tags. And actually, rather than doing it like that, we're going to make this even easier. Let's delete this, duplicate this, rename this. Okay, and what we want to do is for leftover stat tags, we're going to set, what can we add? We can add. So no. Add. Okay, and what we're going to add is we're going to add this tag and this value. Alright, and we're going to feed this in here. And delete this and this. Okay. We don't even need to make this map. That should just be cool. Getting our clamp values. So theoretically our leftover stat tags should have something. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we're going to loop through each of our leftover stat tags. Alright, and if the value is greater than 0, we're going to skip to the next free slot and basically not destroy that weapon. And if not, we're going to destroy it. So let's try this again. Now, we step on this. When we come through here, we're adding that to leftover stat tags. Do that twice. Now, our leftover stat tags, we have 2. But the values are definitely wrong. And as a result of that, we're going to do... Wait a minute, what value is greater than 0? None of these values are greater than 0. So false is going to break out and that's not greater than 0. What? Alright, here we go again. We'll get this eventually. Alright, let's go waste this dude. Stop shooting. All okay. Walk over this. Frame by frame this. Alright, stat tags. We have got 2. We have 0 in the magazine and 16 spare. Alright? When we go through this, we're checking to see what we have. What we have is that this particular Okay, so we do have it. And the amount that we're adding is 0 because there was 0 in the magazine. And then the leftover stat tags, we're adding a value of, we'll come back and we should be able to see that now. Okay, so now this time, this is true. And the value, what? It's 16. Ah. Okay, so 16. The max in this case is 0. So this is going to return 0. Okay, that's the problem. We need to not be subtracting off. We need to be subtracting off this minus the max with the, no wait, that was right. That was totally right. We should have gone there and added in 16. Let's do that again. Same test. Alright, first time through, we're adding the value of 2. How do you figure 2? 8. I shot 2, that's why. He finished his reload. So I'm able to add 2. So there should be 6 left in the magazine now. This is the part that doesn't work. So we have 8. Wait a minute, I shot 2. Where was the 2? It just said 2. Stat tags. My stat tags for this one is 2. Oh, 8. But what do I have in my chamber? This is saying that I have 8 currently. Alright, so that's 0. So, hold on a second. If that's the case, 0, 8. 8 minus 0 should be 8. Oh, that's why. It's not a min that we want. It's a... We want the value greater than 0 here, not... I think it's floor, is that what we want? Floor? Or clamp? Clamp? The value comes in, and the max is going to be equal to... We could do this. This should work. It's weird, but it'll work. Okay. Alright, so let's let him finish off his first chamber test. No way. I'll buy it for a second, dude. Here we go again. Time to debug. Alright, pick this up. Come through here. We're adding in... What? Stat tags. Okay, 0 in the chamber, 2. Okay, so that's fine. So the first time through it's 0, that's fine. Second time through, we have 16. Okay, so we're adding the stat tag, 16. Okay, so we added it to our leftover stat tag. And then we're going to come through here. Our leftover stat tags, we have 2. 0 and 16. Okay? If either of these is greater than 0, we're gonna get the next free slot. I think we need a break in here. I think that's gonna happen. It's gonna come back in. Yeah, it doesn't actually break up. Okay, so that doesn't work. Okay, so basically what we want to do is there's a couple ways we can handle this, right? If any of our leftover stat tags have a value greater than 0, we can set a variable that says no destroy. Rumglass asks, how does a beginner get into game development? I mean, there's a couple different ways. So a lot of it just kind of depends on where you are in your overall journey. Obviously, one is you can go to school for it. That's one way to do it. Depending on if you've already gone to school, or for example, if you've already gone to school and you got a degree in software engineering, maybe you were doing database and stuff like that. You would just have to kind of tailor your knowledge towards that. So anyways, you can go to school for game development. That's one way. You can take your already earned degree and tailor that to game development. That's another way. And then another way, one of the ways that I see embedded software. Okay. I think probably, and this applies to method 3 as well as the second way, is literally find a way to show game dev software, right? So if you've mainly been working on embedded software, you already know software engineering. So if you sit down and do like what I'm doing here right now, where you just start sitting down and building games and learning the speak, learning the how to walk the walk type thing, probably primarily focused on what you think might interest you in game dev. But again, it depends. Are you interested in software engineering for game development, or are you interested in the art side? And depending on which one that is, you kind of focus on whatever that is. But some of the most successful interviewees I've seen, a lot of them have non-game dev experience background. They went and built their own game, or they helped out with an indie game, or any of those number of things, and that they use that as their stepping stone. You just need a stepping stone. You already have the background. You can problem solve, you can write code. You just need a stepping stone. That's all you're looking for. Okay, so there's two ways we can do this. We can set a variable, and based on that variable, we can choose to destroy the actor, or we can set a break. I think for ease, I'm gonna set a variable, and we're gonna call this is, or has leftover. Let's go has leftover. No, let's use is leftover. All right, and the default value on that we're gonna set to false. Okay, which it defaults to false. And if that's greater than 0, we're going to set this to true. Pretty simple, right? Nothing crazy. All right, and then once we've completed, we're going to continue about our business as we were before, but this time we're going to do a test. So is there leftover? And if that's true, we are not going to destroy our actor. And if it's false, we are going to destroy our actor. I'm on the fence about this whole item entry slot thing. We're going to think about this, see what happens and how this plays out. But I'm curious how the backend code ties in. Oh, dude. Okay, so Rumglass is asking about how the backend code ties into animations and movement. There's a lot of ways this happens. So, for example, Let me show you here in Unreal, since I have it up. Basically, in Unreal, there's a lot of things that happen in Blueprint. Okay, if we go to, actually I'm looking for an Anim Blueprint. Here we go. This is our Anim Blueprint. Let me find a good one. Here's our base Anim Blueprint. Okay, is that open? All right, and the way that this base Anim Blueprint works is this is basic. If you're not in game, this is the Anim graph, right? It's basically a visual diagram of how the animation gets kind of added in. I have not actually looked at this one yet, so this could take me a while to kind of sift through. But basically, the way this goes is a lot of all these animations kind of get stored, right? And so this is the locomotion state machine. And if I go into this locomotion state machine, this is everything that happens to kind of decide what the character is going to do. And in this particular case, when we enter, we're going to go straight to idle. And in that case, then depending on what these little, these are our transition rules. And basically it's like, do we have acceleration? Is the gameplay target melee, or do we have velocity? If so, we're going to go to start, right? That's kind of how this graph is set up. Now in the idle though, there's a full body idle state that plays, and this is a linked anim layer. And in here, it doesn't look like we have. I'd have to find it. Let me go back. I'm looking for one. But basically, as an example, all of these things can be, yikes, what did I do? I hate it when that happens. All of these can be variabilized. And you can actually write visual editors that allow you to choose which animations play. There are also things that can happen, like for example, when I go, here's a great example. When I go to press shift in here, or space, no, shift, what is it? Control? There it is, shift forward. You see how I lunge forward? That lunge forward can be controlled by a curve that's defined by the artist or the designer as to how far forward the character is going to go. Somebody has to write all of that curve, right? All that logic, because that might not be standard in the way this particular engine works. And so a software engineer is going to work with an animator and a designer to come up with how that curve is interpreted, and then give the animation and design control so that maybe the distance that I travel is based on my class, or it's based on my level, or all those kinds of things. That may not be default available. Almost everything that is done, all of these blueprints and everything can all get kind of baked down into actual code that's done, depending on the requirements for the project. So there's a lot of stuff where you're writing code, working directly with designers and artists to kind of set up the back end. And the back end in this case is what drives the animation in game. Hopefully that helps. All right, so back to our test pickup. We were gonna test this out now. So what we wanna do is we wanna shoot this dude before he uses all of our ammo. And what we're testing here is when we walk over this, yes, look at that. So it filled us up, but it did not get rid of that weapon. And the reason it didn't get rid of that weapon is because it has more to give. So let's see here, 816, let's see how much. Problem is, I know what the problem is. It's never gonna stop. It's never gonna destroy. Okay, here's the problem. So what happens is when I walk over this thing, it's checking it. Let's see here. We have our leftover stats. Okay, but what we're not doing is we're not resetting the stats. So what's happening is our leftover stats are always going to be the same, and so it's constantly updating. So let's see here. Basically what we want to do is, if there's leftover, okay, we don't want to just keep going. We also want to reset our values for this spawned actor. So let's see if we can squeeze that in here nicely. So let's just set these dudes. We're gonna set our stat tag to our leftover stats. All right, and let's see if we can count this down. Okay, we should be able to count this pretty easy. All right, so that's 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots. When he goes to reload, he should have a total of 8 in the chamber and 8 in the spare. Let's kill him. Okay, so I think he probably got 2 or 3 shots off. You'll notice I have 2 in the chamber and 16 spare. If I walk over this weapon, I now have 6 and 16. Okay, it is kind of working. It's kind of working. What's happening is I can't, there's no more for me to pick up. Oh, actually it did. Let me pick up a few more in the chamber. Let's see here. It's not letting me pick up any more in the chamber. Alright, that's sort of interesting. Now, if we reload, can we pick up the other 8? We did. We picked up the other 8. It's still letting me pick up the other 8. We need to put some breakpoints in here and figure out what the heck is happening. When we walk over this. So when we walk over this, we're going to see our current stat tags is 2. We have 0 with 8 spare. Our leftover stat tags. What is our leftover stat tag? 0 with 8 spare. Okay. Okay, so we have 8 left over. When we walk over this, we should get. All right, so we know we have the 8 spare. Okay, what's happening is it looks like our spare is not counting down. Okay, so. All right, so basically what's happening? Yeah, this is very cool. Like all of this visual scripting node stuff from class is awesome. Okay, so we're adding a stat tag to the stat count. In this case, the number for us 0. How do you figure 0? The default for the definition is. Oh, this is because this is the ammo in the magazine. Okay, that's fine. So then the second time through, we should be adding 8. Yes, we're adding 8 to our stat count. Okay. And so that should renew us. And then we should take the 8, subtract off 0. What? Hold on a second. 8. We're not subtracting off the right amount here. The max should be 8. The min should be 0. Hold on a second. Our stat tags are, we have 2 of them. In this case, our spare ammo is 8. And we're adding in 8. Wait, how do you figure we're adding 0? We're not adding 0. This is saying I already have 16. That doesn't seem right. I only have 8, but look, I have 3 shotguns. It can be. So Rumglass is asking if this event graph concept is a typical way to represent logic in a video game. It can be. So this visual scripting basically is an artist-friendly way to allow artists to help contribute to the code. And in the case of Unreal, all of this visual scripting at build time gets baked down into C++ code. And then that's what actually gets run. So this is a really cool way to allow technical artists and technical people who aren't necessarily C++ programmers to kind of contribute to gameplay logic and workflow. It's a big part of Unreal Engine. Unity did not have as much of this, but I believe they added that, or somebody added that as a plugin. But this whole visual scripting thing can be very cool. Now, what is happening here is we have 3 shotguns. So I think what's happening is our numbers are all thrown off because of this shotgun. So here's the deal. When we're adding this item, I don't think we want to do this if we already have one. All right? And so I think we need to be smarter about whether or not we're adding an item to our slot. And I think we need to check to see if we have the item before we add it. Technically, yes, you could. So in fact, so all right. So Rumglass is asking, so you could just write the C++ without having to use this interface. By the way, Rumglass, the reason I keep repeating your questions is there are also non-Twitch people who are following or people who are just listening, so it helps for them to know. So the answer to your question, so you could write this in C++ without having to use the interface, is true. Okay, and in fact, a lot of these classes, like these weapons, or like basically these are all kind of blueprint classes, and a whole bunch of them are actually written in C++, and then they expose variables for artists to use. Now, you choose as the C++ programmer which variables and things are exposed or not, and technically you could do this all in C++ if you wanted to. Okay, so I think what we need to do is we need to go through. This is our quick bar. Let's get, for a quick bar, let's get all get slots. All right, what we want to do is, before we just blindly add this stuff, okay? We're not even gonna check for the next free slot. We're gonna check to see if we can add the weapon first. Okay, so we're going to loop through all of our slots. So for each slot, what we're going to do is we are going to get, wait, this is a inventory item instance. What I want to know is I want to know if this is equal to what we're going to be adding. And in this case, item is here. What's this do? If this is equal, then we do not want to continue. We do not want to add that. So this is a branch. True. If these two are equal, we do not need to add. If they're not equal, we'll kick out. And then when we're going to complete, we'll come in. So what we'll do is we'll do the same thing we've done before, where we've set variables. So in this, we're going to go is new weapon, and it's going to start out as false. Let's save this just for kicks. And no, let's start it out as true. No, actually, Rumglass, it's cool. That's what we're here for. you know, to just kind of answer questions and stuff like that. So it seems to be used and embedded to allow testers to use the code. Yeah, I haven't looked at how this stuff gets baked down, but I'm from what I understand, it can be pretty dang efficient, because it kind of has to be. Performance is pretty important, obviously, in game dev. I think there are certain things that, so there's an entire, and you know what, we'll have to do this in some upcoming videos. We're not to this. So basically what we're doing in Rumglass is, I hang out here, I answer questions about game dev. If I know them, if I don't, we stumble through them together. In the absence of questions, I'm basically working on my game. And as I'm working through the game, we're going to get to different parts. At some point in the future, once we have our playable level ready to go, there is going to be the question of performance. Because inevitably what's going to happen is we're going to log in, we're going to start playing, and it is going to chug. And so there is an entire profiler that helps you track down where you're losing time. And we'll be able to dig into some of the blueprints and visually see where we're losing time from a performance standpoint. And there may be certain things where the visual scripting isn't fast enough and we have to convert it to C++, or we need to change the way our visual scripts are working because we've been lazy about infinite for loops or whatever. So let's see here. Is this a new weapon? We're gonna set this. So if they are equal, we're going to set this to false. All right. And then in here, we are only going to do this if it's a new weapon. Right? So basically what this is going to do is it's going to get our current quick bar slots. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna have to do two things in here, all right? But for now, this is going to work because it always works, right? First time. Anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna loop through our slots and we're going to see if we already have a shotgun in this case. And if the shotgun is in our slots, then we're gonna set our new weapon to false. And the only reason we're going to add it is if a new weapon is true. So theoretically, as you saw before, we ended up with 3 shotguns. We should no longer do that now. So we're gonna wait till this dude gets to the end of his chamber. Okay, so now we have 6 and 16. If I walk over this, okay, now we have 8 and 16. That weapon, let's shoot off some of our rounds. 8 and 8. 8 and 16. Maybe I believe it. Let's see. Eight and 16. There's something still off here, people. I don't know what it is yet, but let's find out. Okay, so we're gonna come in here. Our current stat tags to 8 and 8. Alright, we're coming through here. We're adding this to the leftover stat tags. This is all the same. We finished adding this to the leftover stat tags. Our leftover stat tags, 8 and 8, is that right? In this case, that's true. Okay, so that's true. But if we shoot off all of our rounds, we're trying to make it so players don't actually cheat the system and keep just spawning their own weapons. Okay. I just meant maintaining ability since some embedded products need to be updated for a long time, but wow, that profile sounds neat. Yeah, so you're not wrong about that, Rumglass, either. So generally speaking, in my experience, much in the same way as there's good coding practice, right? Everybody has their agreed upon formatting and what you know, code reviews and things like that look like. We also generally use best practices for visual scripting as well. And that includes variable naming, formatting, even simple rules like always leave blueprints cleaner than when you found them or better than when you found them. All the normal coding standard stuff, we do the same kind of thing, but in a visual way. So yeah, maintainability is important. So this time we're coming through here. Our stat tags should be 8 and 8, okay? But when we're done, our leftovers should be 0. What? Hold on a second. We're adding 0. Why are we adding 0? 8 and 8. Oh, because the reason we're adding 0 is because we have 8 in the chamber. So that is true still. Okay, I'm buying. I buy that. All right, now the second time through, we should have our 16. Okay, is that, wait, what? Stat tags, 8 and 8. 16, okay, so 16 minus the 8 is 8. 8, and we're adding 8. And then we should take that, and we're doing, ooh, I don't agree with that. So we're adding 8. Our stat tags, we have 8. We're adding 8. We have 8. 8 minus 8. Wait, why is it clamping an integer value? The max value is 16. No. I swear this said 16 a second ago. We're doing that again. Wait. Oh, shoot. We're getting rid of everything. We are way tired tonight. That's okay. Okay, we have 0. We have 0 of everything right now. Alright, when we come in here, alright, currently 16. What stat is it getting? E, stat tags of 2, magazine ammo and spare ammo. Gets default stat from item depth. The default stat from the item depth is 16. Okay. 16 and 8. 0. So this should kick out 8, which it does. 8. Max of 8. Value is 0. Clamp. I don't know why that default is 16. Here our default is 8. This is gonna be our magazine size. And this should be 8 minus 8, which would be 0. So we're going to add that back in. So our leftover stat should be 0. The only thing that's weird is our magazine ammo. And the reason is our magazine ammo for the shotgun. Oh goodness. That's why. But these should be the same. 8 and 8. We should not be that far off. But what's going to happen is this is not going to destroy it again. Because 2. We have 8 magazine ammo and 0 spare. For each one of the keys, in this case, magazine ammo, spare ammo. Magazine should be first. And our default value for, look at this, why is this getting a default value from a weapon item class of 16 for magazine ammo? I don't buy that. Okay, so I'm not buying this. Alright, so we need to do something a little more interesting. So let's print string this. Okay, and get a debug string from the gameplay tag. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to print what's going to be useful here. We're going to append and we're going to append default. And we're going to add a pin to this. This is a little messy and probably going to be hard to follow, but that's okay. Because I just want to see what it's printing. Alright, if we play this. Alright. And I go down to 8 and 8. And we start this. Okay. Our spare ammo default is 16. It's backwards. You guys see that? It was backwards, man. Where was that? Magazine ammo default of 8. Spare ammo default 16. Okay, that's correct. That's correct. Okay. How long are we gonna leave this up for? Let's leave this up 10 seconds so we can read it a little easier. Okay, so each time through we're gonna print what our magazine and spare ammo defaults are. And then each time through, let's print the leftovers. Yikes. Interesting. Hold on. If we found the stat tag, we're going to add it. Otherwise, I don't like this fault. If we don't find the stat tag, I don't think we should do anything. Let's print the string. Okay, and what we're going to print is we're going to print get string from gameplay tag. We're going to append, and we're going to add a couple pins to this. We're going to say leftover, and then we're going to go like this, and we're going to give it the tag, and then the amount that we're setting it to, and we're going to print that. Alright, so hopefully this will be able to help us visualize this a little bit. Alright, so if I kill this, alright, we probably got 3 shots. Okay, so, I forgot to change the print time on that. Let's go to, we're gonna make both of these 20, just so we have time to read them. Okay, let's go again. Same thing. So we have 2, 0 in spare, and 8 in the chamber. Okay, so So what that did is, first time through, our magazine ammo default is 8. Our magazine ammo is 5 that they had left over. Our spare ammo is 16, and a spare ammo of 0 is what we have. That doesn't make any sense. Hold on a second. 5. Oh my gosh, why am I having such a hard time thinking about this? Okay, I know for certain that this shotgun is 8 and 16. When I walk over it, this is gonna be the second time that this thing reloads. Alright, I don't know if it finished reloading or not. I'm at 8 and 8. When I walk over this gun, I go 8 and 16. So the live shooter game weapon default is 8. Spare ammo default is 16. The leftover in this case in the magazine was 0. And the leftover in spare ammo was 8. Because it's in spare. This whole idea of spare versus regular. See, it only gave me 8 spare. But it's also not letting me pick up anymore. So our I'm guessing that if we look at this now, and we walk over this, our stat tags, we have 2, but they're both at 0. Okay, so the stat tags, okay, so there's kind of a problem here. And the problem is we're separating the idea of spare versus magazine ammo. And I don't think we should. I don't think we should. And the reason I don't think we should is because when it just makes it complicated. Well, we could. It just makes it complicated for us to figure out if when we pick, here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Like when we go to decide whether or not we should pick this more ammo up, do we add it to the magazine or do we add it to the spare? What if the magazine's already full? Well, we should add to the spare, but we're just comparing the straight stat tags. So I think what we should do is when we drop our weapon, we go through and set all of our stat tags. Let's try something. Let's just do this. Let's set our spare to be that and our magazine to be 0. So what's gonna happen is when I kill this dude, that dude got off maybe 2 shots in the second round. We should have had 8 in spare and another 6 in the magazine. So if we debug this, just to make sure we're running the numbers. Okay, when we come in here, our stat tags, we have 2. How do we have 6 in the magazine? I mean, that is true. We have 6 in the magazine, but I thought we specifically changed this to be 0 for the magazine. On the drop. How in the heck is that 6? We're making a map. We're doing it right here. Oh, that's if we drop the weapon. Not if we die. Okay, there's another place this is happening that we need to control. And that is in the shooter mannequin when they die. Holy cow, who knew this was gonna be? I was worried we weren't gonna have anything to do tonight. Shooter mannequin. What we need to do is, this is drop inventory items. When we go through here, magazine ammo. See, we're doing this in 2 places. I don't like this. This means we have the same code in 2 different places, effectively run glass. As an example, this is bad technique. We should probably put this in a single place so it's run by both. But in this case, this will work. A lot of everything I'm doing right now is based on kind of the mentality of prototype. So he's getting through his first rounds. So he should have 7 in the magazine and 8 in spare. Alright, and what we're going to do, we're going to hit this debug point, and hopefully it just shows us 15 total. No debug. We'll walk over this. Okay, so when we walk over this, we've got 2 tags. One is 0 and one is 15. Rep. So that totally worked. Okay, so now what's going to happen is it's going to go through, it's going to do our printing, and I have 8 and 15. I can add 8 more, so there should be 7 left over when we're done with this. 0's not going to do anything. When we get down to the leftovers, our leftover tags, 14.